Nail your colors to the mast, I say. It's about time that every American starts to ask themselves, which line in the sand do they stand on? We are getting to a point now where big questions are coming into play. Stay tuned. Well, howdy folks. Dave Man here again, Rollman Revolution. Now, there was a lot of things that I've been thinking about over the last few days, but this court decision that occurred in the wee hours of the early morning started to make me scratch my head a little bit. I'm starting to ask, do Americans, do all everyday Americans walking around right now, really understand what it means to have the liberties and freedoms that they have? Do they really understand what being a America First nationalist populist really means, or what does that mean? Because I'm trying to figure out where people are in this whole argument, because we're getting to a point now where our Supreme Court seems to be contradicting a lot of what it is that they're putting out. Because if you're saying that Trump has the legal authority to do what he needs to do in the executive, but at the same time, you're striking down the other night saying that he can no longer deport any of these people because he can't use that old, what was it, act that they cited in order to allow this to happen. I'm missing off the top of my head. But anyway, if the court's saying these two different things, it's getting to a point now where it's like I'm starting to ask myself, do we as an American people understand what America First means? Meaning putting this nation first. Because I'm starting to think that people are getting caught up in the politics of all of this. And really what this all comes down to is what you want for your family, my family, the people around you, your community. What do we want? And nobody's really asking that question. All of this theatrics and all of this drama and all of this shit that goes on in Washington, D.C. every day, it pulls us away really from the true questions, the common denominator, the questions that we really should be asking ourselves. And that is, what do we want? If this is truly a constitutional republic, then we decide its future. Not they, we do. And the only way that happens is when we speak up. We start communicating with the people around us. We get directly involved. And the reason I'm saying this is because too many of us, and I including, get caught up in the mumbo jumbo of politics sometimes, especially if you have a family of Democrats or a family of Republicans and you were raised in those so-called parties or that party type mentality. If that's the case, well, you are going to have a tilted slant on how to view the world. You're going to view it through the lens of whatever people that you have been around most of your life. And you may have formed conclusions based upon those assumptions. But if you don't expand out and start saying, well, wait a minute, every once in a while, people make mistakes or they get it wrong. Why don't I, as an individual, truly understand what I think? Not what other people are telling me to think, but what I truly think. And that's what I mean when I say it's time for us to nail the colors to the mast. You've got to determine what side you really stand on. What is it? Are you America First? And what does that mean for you? It's not about having everybody gets to decide and do everything that they want to whenever they want to. No, we got to start putting this nation first and the protection of this nation first and the interest of this nation first and get rid of all of the bad people that don't belong here if we are going to put this nation first. That's the whole kind of basic premise around this. And I am really struggling why or how we have such a huge opposition within the media and this credentialed class that are going out of their way to try to make Donald Trump look like he's this oligarch, big old bad meanie that is just trying to get these people out of the country. The innocent people, they came here because they were seeking asylum and all that. First off, they came into the country illegally, okay? That's the first problem, all right? And then the other thing is that you took a whole bunch of government incentives to come here, okay? And now that the incentives are no longer gone, and you really don't belong. That doesn't mean that you get a free pass only because you just crossed the finish line. Oh, we made it in, so therefore I get all these free things. That's not how it works. And the reason I'll say that is you have to think. If Caitlin Collins, let's say for argument's sake, I just tomorrow was to go over to Caitlin Collins and just move into her house. Just move into her house while she's at work. I start doing my laundry, put my stuff in one of the rooms or whatever it is. She comes home, and then I say to her, she goes, you need to get out of here. I'm like, no, I live here now. I moved in, I got myself settled or whatever it is. I live here now. You're just going to have to deal with me. Do you think for one damn minute that would hold over on a personal situation at all? No. But when you try to look at that on the grand scale and you think of country as your home, this is your place, this is where you live, this is the governing body of your big family, you don't get to make decisions over that. These people are making decisions over that. The Supreme Court is making decisions over what the executive branch has been said to have total control over. President Trump is the chief magistrate, the chief executive officer. You got to understand the roles that he has under Article 2. And once you understand those very clear roles, it's like that's his primary job role, is to secure the country, keep the country safe, and look out for the interests of this country. But you have people in office, in elected office, your representative maybe, who are fighting against this. And I'm trying to get people to stop for a minute. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue anymore. It never has been. They got us all fighting each other. And you've heard me on this channel saying this multiple times. And I hate being the parrot. But if you think about it, and you think about your family, what you grew up in, and the communities that you're hanging around in, isn't it kind of interesting that it's very convenient that everybody agrees with everybody? Because if you want to fit into the group or the groups that you're kind of with, or not get into family arguments, that's why so many people check out of politics, because they don't want to argue over their beliefs, okay? Because a lot of times there are people on the opposition that just want to bang them over the head. Oh, you're stupid for thinking that, and you're stupid, because nobody wants to have a conversation anymore. Most people really don't know why they believe what they believe. And take it from me, a person who asks people questions on a regular basis or tries to dive deep into what really is kind of going on and what people are thinking, most people deep down don't really know how they came to those conclusions. Now, they may have an opinion on something and they may be very lucid in that opinion, but they don't know where it came from. That conclusion has been kind of embedded in over the course of time. And a lot of us don't have time to question our opinions. We just assume that what we believed all this time is the right way. And what I am asking people to do as we get to this point in our nation's history where you're going to have to nail those colors, who you are, to the mast of your flag, your boat, whatever. You got to tell people who it is you are and what it is you believe and the direction you want your nation to go. That is what this is all about. That is what President Trump is trying to do. He's trying to return the power that has been stolen from you through Washington, D.C., through all of this litigation and laws and, back alley deals. These secrets that you are not privy to because they've divided you. They've taken you out. They've turned you into a slave to a system they created. And then they got you and I fighting against each other as if we are the ones that created this mess. No, they've mixed emotions. They put things in your head. They put things in my head. They put things in your neighbor's head. And most of them, they probably don't even add up to really what's going on. But they got you and I fighting, and that's all they need to do. The only way you can win this war is when the American people are against each other. Because once we start looking at each other as just human beings trying to get from one day to the next, and we are all Americans, we're all in the same boat, and we're all seasick together, once you get that going, you start to realize we're not that much different. That you and I are on the same team, that we're all really fighting for the same thing. We may differ on a lot of how we get there, but we can work that out through debate and conversations. But we need to return to debate and conversations. We got to stop beating each other over the head, and we got to stop arguing with each other over platitudes of bullshit. We need to bring the facts that we have to the table and argue them out. And then once we realize that they're bullshit, we got to keep bringing them back. That's the problem in this country. You want to know why racism's still here? It's because we keep making it an issue. You know why sexism and all these other isms are still here? It's because we keep pinning the opposition against each other when there really is nobody really thinking about these things on a regular basis. But they make it into news. We have to start asking ourselves what we know, how we got here, what we really think, and the direction we really want to take our country. The lines in the sand are drawn. President Trump has told you, he has shown his cards, he's made his move, and now his move is on a trajectory. And the only thing that's happening in the opposition is to block up that through the court system. The court system now is in this weird place, and John Roberts, I'm sorry, is making it even more confusing with the decisions that keep coming out of this. It's like, I don't know which direction. It's like, what country are we living in? I'm starting to ask ourselves, because nothing is making any sense anymore. It's almost sounding like we just have to make the right political answer. No. While you guys are playing politics with the court system and playing politics with each other, the American people are suffering. We're invaded by tens of millions of people. Fentanyl everywhere. An economy that's all over the place. And the only people that are actually picking up the tab for this, the American working class. And we don't see the problem here. We are not against each other. That's what I continually keep saying to everybody. It's not you versus me. It never has been. The fight is within this embedded government. It's all in it. And it's not Trump. Trump is the one trying to expose it all. He's trying, like I said before, to return the power back to you. And you can see what's happening. The globalists and the deep state don't want the power to be returned to you. That's why they're going after him. That's why if the Democrats take over in 26, the first thing they will do is try to impeach Trump. You can count on it. And that's why I'm asking people, your line in the sand. Who are you? What do you believe? Speak it. Talk it out. Stand on it. Protest about it. When protests come to your area, you become the anti-protest. Be that voice. Consume them. Like I've said before, this nonsense, nonsense is so easy to destroy, because once you engage with it, especially when you're coming from a place of truth and understanding, you can engage in those people and they have nothing for you. And you know, when you can always tell when somebody loses a debate. They walk away, they get nasty, they get angry, they get vengeful, they get forceful, they lash out, because the last thing you want to do is to lose. So the last thing you do is you're lashing out, right? Go to some of these protests and you will discover that most of the people there really don't understand what's kind of going on. They've been fed nonsense, bullshit for years and years and years and years, and you could be one of them. I know I was. And once you come on that line of understanding, you get some new information, get out of that comfort zone per se, but really just to start having conversations with people you normally wouldn't have, you start to realize we're not that much different. We're really good people. We're just trying to get at it. And this argument, everybody wants to be right. Everybody wants their camp to be right. Screw the camps. You just have to know what you believe. What we believe as a nation. We've got to understand what we want. If this is an American constitutional republic, do we know what that means? Are we willing to fight for what those forefathers, the people who came before us, fought for? The whole point of it. I mean, if not, this whole thing is a charade. It's a drama being played out. And if you don't care, they're going to write the story however they want to. And when we get to the final chapter, you are not going to like the ending. So grab a hold of what is yours and take it in the direction you want it. You do that at the local level. You do that within your family. You just open the dialogue, have conversations, but know what you believe. Know how you got to those conclusions. Start to investigate some of the things that you just keep hearing about. And try to find a variety of sources. Talk it out so that you know what's going on. And if politics is not your thing, don't go on your social media and start blasting your opinion about things you don't really understand. That's the problem with this world. We think that because we have a social media account, we should just go out and spread something that we heard someplace. Do your due diligence. Understand what you understand. Know what you know. We have to be better than this. And as far as I'm concerned, the American people, the real heart and soul of this nation, gets it. That's why you're starting to see a grow and a rise in this Maga movement. Everybody doesn't think what Trump is doing, the way he's doing, is the right way, because that's what we all have different ways of how to approach it. But the goal is the same. In the end, the goal has always been the same. And that is to put this nation first, to secure this nation, to bring wealth back to this nation, to bring ease to this nation, and to get the country healthy again. That's a noble cause, and I don't know why everybody's not on board with it. The pathway on how to get there, yes, it's going to be rocky, but the games that are being played by the adversaries to Trump in this court system is complete and utter insanity. And it's getting to the point of almost an entire clown show. These people are not serious. They're mucking with yours and my life by playing these games, by playing politics, by holding things up, by putting our country at risk. And I'm sick of this. These are children, adult children, putting you and I at risk every single day to try to win the political war. And I'm done with it. Choose your side. The lines in the sand are very drawn. It's either this nation first or get out. That's the answer. I hope to see you out there, my friends. Have a happy Easter, and we'll talk with you soon.